Well, guys, we're here. We're alive, back for another episode of Fuck My Life, number 46.
Wait, did
Can't
you
believe.
say we're here, we're live, or do you say we're here, we're alive?
I mean, both do fit. We are alive and we're live.
That's true, but I usually say, "What's going on, everybody? We're here, we're live." But it could be changed to "We're here, we're alive." That would be a slight tweak, but I mean, I guess maybe
Yeah,
necessary.
I
So.
was aiming for alive, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Both fit. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Just another week of an incredible life. I just love life and appreciate it so much, you know.
Do you?
I'm just getting by. We're getting by. That's pretty much it. So.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it goes usually. Um, I mean, I feel like this week has been it's off to a busy start with all of the information we've gotten about the Odyssey and Doomsday, the Infinity Vision tickets already going up for sale. But I feel like it's been an okay week. Except for the fact that now my X feed is filled to the brim with Pokemon 24/7.
That's not my fault.
It is your fault. I do single-handedly blame you.
I think that I have been the cause of that for a lot of people. I think that me getting into Pokemon has reinvigorated a lot of people's interest in Pokemon. So
Yeah,
I guess I'll take all the
especially
credit.
okay, I mean, congrats. Especially though when like you I think the thing is like I've always seen so much Pokemon merchandise and stuff, but now because I search it up once and it's just filled to the brim, it's like the DSP clips. When we started the show, you kept sending me DSP clips, and then I would get so many on my feed. Luckily, not anymore. That doesn't mean go and send me more clips.
But
I'm going to have to decline that.
here's the thing though. I I will say I did send you some DSP clips and stuff, especially when we were reacting to some of those on streams and everything. I don't
Yeah.
think I sent you very much Pokemon shit. I
Maybe
think
not.
I
Maybe it
think that
already
that
was
is
there, but it's like when you're looking for it, you actually see it. That could be it too.
I think that is naturally popped up in your algorithm. I don't think that I didn't like put it in your inbox. We'll put it that way.
E okay, I mean, fair enough.
Mhm.
I do have to say though,
Probably because you were
the
watching my streams about Pokemon. That's probably why it happened.
that could be it. I do have to say though that the Pal World craze is in
Ah,
full effect, and I've been
it
playing
is.
Pal World, so I've been also reading about the TCG that's going to be coming out for it because they were basically like, haha, Nintendo, you lost your lawsuits. Fuck you. We're going to launch a TCG. And I
Isn't
may
some of the
actually
lawsuits
get a
still
little bit.
going on though?
It is, but like the major claims they
Yeah.
have now lost on, or there's nowhere for Nintendo to take it.
Well, I just
So
think that like the injunction to stop them from doing whatever, like that's not happening. But there's still an active lawsuit. I don't know exactly what the ramifications of it are, but I'm pretty sure the lawsuit is still active against them.
yeah, I think so. I'll see if I can find it real quick, but I know that like it's basically fucking falling apart. Nintendo's lost so much money on it and spent so much money on it. Um, which I just think is great because I like Pokemon and I mean I like Nintendo, but I thought that it was always ridiculous that they were going after Pal World and those devs for daring to put creature capture mechanics in a game.
Yeah, it is kind of wild. And there's part of it when it first came out, I'm like, yeah, these just look like Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, especially
Yeah.
some of the designs were straight up very derivative.
Yeah.
But the whole capture mechanic, I think that's ridiculous. But in terms of the designs, some of the designs are pretty straight fucking ripoffs. So yeah,
They
I
did
could kind of understand at
change.
least portions of the lawsuit. So.
Yeah, they did change some of them as well because I think that they were hoping to make sure that it especially didn't look bad in court. And plus, it's like their argument was, well, that was always the early access. It's been 2.5 years since we've launched early access, and so it was always meant to be different. The designs were always meant to like grow and change, which, of course, hey, look, I think that basically it is for me. I'm not going to trash a game just because it has either similar mechanics or designs to another game. Of course, it does feel quite a bit like Pokemon, having to throw these spheres and then capture these creatures. But I haven't played an open world survival Pokemon game with guns. I'd
That's
love
true.
that,
Yeah.
but it I don't know if you had like paid attention to it when I think it was announced 10 or 11 months ago, almost a year now, but Ananta. It was like the anime GTA where people were
Yes.
mad at it because it had like Spider-Man web slinging and Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto and
Yeah,
all
it
these
was a
different
rip off of like
features.
a million things. Yeah.
Yeah, but in that case, that also is very different because it's you could say that individual elements and assets are, lifted from these other games, but it doesn't resemble one whole thing. Um, but yeah, I even though we were meant to talk about it, Power Word lawsuit nears the end with Nintendo reportedly poised to gain almost nothing. And TPC and Nintendo could reportedly come away with as little as 30K if they actually end up winning. Because
Yeah.
everything has been dropped except for like one of the elements, and that is it, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, which I don't know why it's even worth it for them to keep going at this point, other than just like some like little bug of annoyance. But ultimately, I think that the Nintendo lawsuit backfired on them, and just in terms of like it made so many headlines. It backfired for Nintendo. It made so many headlines, and even if I think some of their claims had some merit just in general about them kind of ripping shit off, it's like you've got this kind of tiny little company out there with the big mega corporation coming after them. A lot of people are like, oh, fuck off. They're doing something fun. They're innovating. And not that Nintendo hasn't done new stuff, but we know that their innovation is kind of a decade behind everyone else. Like
Yeah.
that's what innovation seems like to them, which is actually fine. You know what I mean? There's probably a reason why it's better in Japan because of their sensibilities. Maybe a little slow to progress in some things. That's why I didn't have to run into a bunch of fucking black people while I was there. It was great. Um, but yeah,
That's true. But
there's like a
yeah,
million people playing every day now.
yeah, which I mean, Pokemon's been massive for such a long time, which is really great. Like I'm glad that it has done so well because Pokemon is so fun. But now, even if, the Pokemon fans feel like, oh, this should have been an easy win for Nintendo, this right here is the massive problem because the case is now limited to older versions of Power World. So basically, Nintendo can only sue over a version of the game from 2.5 years ago, not what exists now because it is so different. Which, hey, it
Yeah.
is what it is. I guess we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, they probably thought that they were going to get some easy win and that Pal World was going to be taken down pretty quickly. But that didn't happen. They have thrown a lot of money into this, and maybe it will go somewhere, I guess, positively for Nintendo specifically, but only time will tell. I did actually buy myself a Pokemon item this week.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's a girl item. It's
It's
like
a
a little
Lego
statue.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not. Is that Lego?
No,
It's
it's
not
not
Lego.
it's not Lego, no. But it's similar in a
They have
way.
they have a bunch of new Lego shit that they were releasing.
They do. I love that massive Pokeball set that's like fucking $400 and that you actually open the Pokeball and you've got all the little actual like character figures in it, but
I just don't want to sit down
no.
and put that together.
Why? You only have to do it once.
Yeah, I know,
And then
but
when you're really pissed off, you could break it. There you
no,
go.
no,
Then you could
no.
put it back together.
I would not. I would not want to do that. I would not want to do
Yeah.
that. Not like if I put that much fucking work into it, I'm not gonna break. I'm gonna break something else. I'm gonna throw one of these like Pokeball tins I have at the wall instead.
You are, I feel, gaining a lot of Pokeballs back there. Have you
Yeah.
added to that collection?
Well, this one is a light up thing. So this is a light,
Whoa.
which it doesn't like come across. It
That's
doesn't
too
really.
fucking bright to even have on
So
your
it,
set though.
yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't really look like this. It's because of the camera and because it's so dark everywhere else. It doesn't
Yeah.
really look this bright. It
Well,
looks
it's like up here I have a Zelda heart light, but it's like too bright to actually see the golden detail that you would in the real world.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's cool. But my plan was to keep it on the background, and I turned it on. It's like just a fucking flaming ball of light back here.
It does look kind of insane.
Yeah, it just looks a little intense. Oh, I decided, all right,
Yeah.
I guess not. That's just for me to enjoy. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I gotta.
Are you a fucking Pokemaster or what? Jesus Christ.
Well, yes, first of all.
Nerd. Did you
A
ever
little
get
bit.
your Batman light fixed?
It is fixed. It just doesn't
It
have a
is?
battery on it.
Put the fucking battery in it. That's another thing I feel like you told me 85 years ago. Oh, I'm gonna put the battery in. It's just a battery.
Yeah, but it discharges quickly. So I should just plug it in the wall is what I should do. But
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should.
I like the Batman light. It's just special occasions. I love my Batman light, actually.
So actually have it be fucking usable instead of just being on the wall.
It is usable, but the thing, I don't want the light to burn out. Because here's the thing. If I plug it into the wall, you know what's going to happen is I'm going to turn it on and I'm never going to turn it off. Because I never turn off any of my lights. I'm not like you, Vera, that turns off your computer every day and does all this shit.
Yep, I do.
Lights,
I restart my computer. I turn my electronics off. If I'm not in the room, the light goes off. I mean, that's just like, I don't know if I feel basic human activity is turning like a light off when you're done using it.
these fucking lights stay on 24/7 unless I go.
Oh God, no.
Yes.
That's how this light goes off, and then the lights in this room go off. As soon as I'm done making content, that's it. It's darkness. I'm living in a fucking cave. I would rather walk around using my phone as a flashlight than have a bunch of random lights on.
No, these lights stay on. Because it's not
That's
because of the
disgusting.
light. It's because I'm like, do I really need to walk to one side, turn it off, walk the other side, turn it off? Then when I come back in, I have to
Yes,
turn it
because
on.
that's just what normal fucking people do is shut
Yeah,
lights
hold on.
off.
But if I do that every fucking day, that's about 5 to 10 seconds out of my life twice a day.
Christ.
Right? So we're talking about
Okay.
20 seconds of my
You know,
life.
every week that we
day.
talk on this fucking show, you say something else that pisses me off.
What do you mean?
Oh my God. You are now coming up with the excuse that you can't take 5 extra seconds out of your day to shut a light off. You know, for
Well,
having such a big, fat, fucking 8-story forehead, you'd think that your brain would be a little bit bigger, and you would actually be like, maybe it's worth it to shut this light off so that it doesn't burn out, it lasts longer, I save money and electricity. No, it's 5 seconds out of your day.
No. It's 5 seconds per light, which is about 10 seconds.
Oh,
which is 20.
Excuse me,
so
chat. Chat, he's right. 10 seconds.
Hey, shut the fuck up. You went on your fucking rant. I didn't interrupt you, right? It's not an excuse. This is reasoning, right? So if you add that up, so I'm talking about 20 seconds per day, you add that up over a fucking week, that's over 2 minutes, right? That adds up over time. And I would rather spend that time doing something else.
You know what I could do right here without wasting any fucking time is shut all my lights off. Oh my God, guys! I just used 10 seconds of time fucking better.
Well, I don't have a smart home, Vera.
I don't know.
I don't
It's
have
just
smart lights
lights that
like
are
you. That's pretty
Oh
incredible. It must be
my
nice to have so
gosh,
much disposable
smart
income that you
lights.
can invest in
Oh my
something like
god,
that.
a $60 strip of lights I bought 5 years ago and a
What
ring light that I bought fucking 5 years ago.
what I'm doing is I'm hustling so much that time is just better spent doing other
Okay.
things for me.
All right. Great reasoning. All
I
right,
need time to
sure.
drive
You know
around
what?
town and find Pokemon. Did you ever think about that?
I sent you fucking Pokemon
Mhm.
to your fucking doorstep. You
I
don't
did.
go out looking for Pokemon.
And I'd appreciate that. And I said I appreciated that. But the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
there's other things that you
Bad
can't just get
excuse, though.
online. You can't just get online. So I have to find it in stores. Hold on.
Hustle
You've seen how
maxing
difficult those
exactly
fucking
one
queues
gal.
are, right? You've seen how hard it is to get
So
what
you
you
can
want.
still fucking get it on the internet.
But I'm not paying
You're
$190
okay,
for a
so
Destin
you're
Rivals
right.
ETB.
You are 100% correct, of course, as usual, Ryan. It's better to go and stand in a line for 4 hours for fucking cardboard than taking 10 seconds to walk around your desk and shut lights off.
Well, you're being a little hyperbolic because 4 hours, probably that's not a usual thing. Although
You
there
only
is
go
an
to one
hold on,
store, though?
hold on. There is an Ascended Heroes Focused Fighters drop tomorrow morning at Sam's Club that I will be in line a couple hours for because it's a really good deal. But that's not a normal thing.
Good. Good argument, Ryan.
I'm just telling you how I live my life. I'm not trying to convince you to live it like me.
Yeah, it's a pretty retarded way to live your life, to be honest.
I don't think so.
I shut lights off when I'm done using the lights, so I guess that's just a difference in
Men and
character
women.
development. Yeah, men
It's
and
a men and
women.
women
Sure.
thing.
Sure. We'll leave it at that. David, thank you for the 7 months. Hail the panel. So I thought the Odyssey was cool until I listened to Ryan and EFAP, and wow, it sucks. Fuck my life. Vera hot and Ryan is cool. Well, thank you for the 7 months. I'm pretty sure that Ryan and I's opinions are in line with one another's, where I didn't think it was the worst movie, but I didn't think it was the best movie. I thought it was pretty mid.
Yeah, I think as a
Yeah.
movie it is. I think for people that are saying it's like the biggest disaster in human history as a film, I think that's I think that's a little wild. I will say this: if you are attached to that story, I can see people being very, very upset with the subversion of it, and I'm
Oh,
upset with it.
absolutely.
You know, just to some extent. I'm just trying to give an honest opinion of the movie as a movie.
Mhm.
Um, I don't see a masterpiece in there anywhere. I also don't see like a 1 out of 10 movie. I think it's right in the middle. I think it's mid. I would say to David that, you know, if you like, there's nothing wrong with you like if you like it and you enjoyed it, you don't need to be talked into disliking it just because some of the people you follow on the internet don't like it. You know, and now if that is like, huh, I never thought about that, and that makes me refeel how I think about this thing, that's fine. But don't let anybody sway you from what you actually think, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, there will be times where you just watch something and you're maybe only half paying attention, or you're not thinking about maybe the source material, but that you hear other people's arguments and the details that they're pointing out, and then you may like something more or you might dislike something more. It definitely happens with entertainment in general. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell people what to think about it, though it you know, there are some people out there that really love it, which if you're one of those people, whoever, we're talking about in chat, whoever that ends up being, because I'm sure there's bound to be some people here that really loved it. That's cool. I thought it did a lot good when it comes to the cinematography. Some of the performances were really solid, but there were a lot of very questionable decisions, which we'll talk about the Odyssey more in a couple minutes. Robert, thank you for the 199. Batman will return in Avengers Doomsday. That trailer was interesting.
That's the trailer they played at CinemaCon. Like,
yeah.
That's not a new trailer.
Right.
You know, when we talked 3 weeks ago, or no, 3 months ago in April or whatever that was, however long ago that was, at CinemaCon when the people saw it and people were raving about it. That's the trailer that they showed.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
like
This is just
shot
the
for shot.
trailer that they're using in order to sell tickets for the Infinity Vision showings of the film.
Now, I think we're probably going to get something from I think we're probably going to get something new from San Diego Comic-Con if I had to guess. Because that's this weekend. Marvel's got a
Yeah.
Hall H presentation. I'd be surprised if they didn't give us something new. I guess that's new for normal people, but we also had the entire description of that, including Thor's entire dialogue. We already
Yep.
had that. So, and I don't
When
think I was wowed by it. And I think specifically because for every character that maybe you do care something for, uh, you there's a million characters thrown in that you don't give two fucks about that had a lot of prominence in the trailer.
Yeah, that is a really big problem because there are characters, of course, that are very cool to be able to see again. Seeing that it's actually Thor, leading everybody is neat, and it is, more member berries. But yeah, you have all of these stupid fucking Wakandan characters. I don't have the most excitement for, the Thunderbolts. I think that they're pretty garbage. Like there's so many of these side characters thrown into the mix that I wouldn't care if they died. And on a individual trailer level, I definitely don't think that it was the worst. I also don't think that it was the best, but knowing the leaks that had previously happened just a few months ago and seeing how a lot of these details are seemingly lining up, that makes me even less excited for the movie. Now, of course, like with every other movie, well, I don't want to say every, but most of the movies that I talk about, I will watch it and I will review it. But I don't feel any more excited now that I've seen this trailer and I've heard all these details than I was even going back to when they, unveiled that Robert Downey Jr. was returning. It's kind of like with GTA. It's just I don't have any hype or excitement for it, even though I'm sure that there are going to be elements that are really good or that are going to be improved or that are going to be at least enjoyable and entertaining. So,
Yeah. I mean, look, their fucking Infinity Vision thing, which is not really anything. It's just the most premium screens that you can find in your area. That's their verification. It's nothing special. Those they sold really quickly, at least around me, the
oh
ones that I
yeah,
checked,
they
like
did around here
very
too.
quickly.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna do numbers.
Oh
But
yeah. Did you get tickets or are you just gonna watch a fucking standard format version of it?
I'll worry about that shit way down the road. I don't like
Yeah, buying tickets for a movie 5 months out is stupid. I think that it is really, really dumb. And I also
I
am
don't
one
know
of the
what I'm
few.
doing tomorrow, let alone fucking 5
Well, that
months
I
from
guess
now.
that is a problem is you do things at the last minute possible and you procrastinate, whereas I personally do not. I got my ticket today for Infinity Retard Vision.
Wow.
Yep, because it's the same fucking price as a normal ticket. Because I'm gonna have to watch it anyway, and I'm gonna have to pay that same amount of money. So, yep, I already got it. Unless magically that day I can watch it by other means and refund the ticket. Who knows? But yeah, you do everything last minute. I do not. Juan Gal, thank you for the 10. Good evening, y'all. Ryan, you never told us you were an inspiration to Cap's outfit and the black shirt and star in a Spider-Man Little Caesars ad. No wonder you say you don't have time. I'm hyped for Captain Black Shirt and Jeans in Doomsday. I mean, that character's one of my favorites.
Yeah, the fact that that's what he's in is crazy. Like it was bad enough when we had them all in like these kind of just dark bodysuits, that wasn't their like traditional outfits, but now he's just he's just freaking a normal dude,
He looks
right?
like Bucky with
I'm
his
just
long
Steve.
hair.
I'm just Steve.
I'm just
I'm not
Ken.
Cap. I'm Steve
Yeah.
Rogers. That black man is Captain America. Don't you forget it. There's going to be something like that in the show or in the movie.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, it's very obvious that they're not going to suddenly sideline Anthony Mackie's retarded version of Cap, even though it's not Cap. And they're it's not like Chris Evans is going to come back full time to suddenly join the MCU again and be part of all of these movies again. That's why they ended up having to lead this movie with Chris Hemsworth. And I like Thor, don't get me wrong. I think Thor's a cool character. It is nice to actually see him be more serious again, and it them to sideline that stupid humor of the last two Thor movies. I'm very, very glad that that's happening. But yeah, I think
But
the
I
issue
just
is
want to
that
remind everybody, for people that are like, thank you, Russo brothers, for making Thor serious again, right? Just want to remind everybody, let's not forget whose idea it was to do Fat Thor in Endgame. Like, that was the Russo brothers who sent him down that path in Endgame. So
yeah.
Just, I like what they've done with Thor in the trailer.
You can't blindly praise it, though. You can't imagine that, like, oh my God, suddenly everything is going to change. It's not like they hired another random writer who made that decision. They made that decision.
Yeah. So. But that is true. I was the inspiration for Captain America's fit. That was me.
Yep, just a normal looking fucking dude with a t-shirt and jeans on.
And a beard.
Yep. That's
my hair. My hair wouldn't look good that long. My hair, if it got that long, it'd be too thick. You know what I mean? It'd be too much volume. I couldn't do that with my hair if it gets long. So
yeah.
It wouldn't sit like that on me.
Well, to be fair, I don't think that it would grow out that much in 5 months. Like, that's not that much time in the grand scheme of things.
You want to bet?
Sure.
Yeah, I couldn't grow out that far, no.
Okay, so what the fuck are we betting on?
I don't know. I just don't want you to underestimate how quickly my hair goes, because it does grow fast. That's why I need a haircut every freaking 4 weeks.
I never get haircuts because I'm a woman. I haven't had my hair cut in years. I haven't cut my hair except for maybe like 1 or 2 little trims in a decade.
That's a long time. But I feel like most women, like maybe twice a year or something, they'll go in, and whether they get a little something done or whatnot. I guess. But that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's stupid though. See, that's the type of shit I'd say is a waste of money, not walking over and turning off a fucking light. Personally.
I need to get my hair cut. People tell me to get a haircut every fucking week we're on here. Like,
yep. And for some reason, you get a haircut and your hair still looks like the Leaning Tower of fucking Pisa. I mean, oh my God. It's just so tilted, just like you though. So I guess it fits. Corvo the Crow, thank you for the $4.99. Hell, didn't realize I was more interested in the House of the Dragon stream than the show until last night. Someone legit said it's been a minute. Modern garbage. Yeah, House of the Dragon has, I feel, got into the points that I was worried about, where last episode and this episode, I'm starting to get bored. I don't want to see fucking Krispy Kreme and his team of losers walking through the woods.
You actually liked the Kristen Cole and Gwen Hightower stuff.
I don't.
You know they're gonna die next episode, right?
Good. I was expecting Crispy to die this episode.
Right, I like Kristen Cole.
I don't. I think my problem is that he doesn't actually ever provide anything except for bitching. What does he actually do except for, no, we're going to keep going down this path. You stay in your fucking lane, losers. I'm the man here. Like,
well, he's ready to die, right? Which
good.
Is maybe
do
why
it then.
Like,
you have a sword. Kill yourself.
There is no other way out for Kristen Cole other than death, right? Kristen Cole came from low status. and he ends up getting knighted, becoming part of the King's Guard, and like this is his world, right? And then he swears these vows, he breaks these vows. Actually, the vows that he's swearing, even as a knight, they're impossible to keep. It's kind of like Jamie goes through this entire thing about all these vows that we swear to all these other things that they're impossible to keep. Like, how can I possibly keep these vows to like defend the innocent and protect women if I'm being ordered by the people I've also sworn vows to kill these people and all this shit? And you can, I think it's even visually implied by the way that his white uniform has become so dirty and so grimy and so done. And the only form of freedom that Kristen Cole has left, right? Because the entire time, whether it was the blacks, whether it was the greens, he's never really been in control. He's never really had this freedom after he swore these vows. And the only freedom he has left is to choose the way that he dies. Because, or if Kristen Cole surrenders right now, he's going to die. Like, they're going to take his head. It's not going to matter.
Right.
Gawain Hightower is a different story. Gawain Hightower is a fucking highborn. Like, if it doesn't go well for him, he's going to end up getting sent back to the fucking Hightower. Maybe they're going to take some freaking captives and stuff like that from the Hightowers to make sure they behave. But he's going to live a lord's life, ultimately. That's what's going to happen to Gawain. That's not what's going to happen to Kristen. And the only control he has left is choosing the manner in which he dies. And like that manner is going to be on his own terms. That's about all he can control, and he's ready to die. So I like the Kristen stuff.
I don't know.
Because it reminds me of my own life.
Yeah, because your life fucking sucks. Nothing to live for. Classic.
That's why I don't turn my lights off, because I have the freedom to do so.
Every week we talk about something else that's retarded, and it's like I can't believe that we're having this conversation and somehow I view you as being more retarded than the week before, like the last week where we had the show.
So look, the lights that I turn off the other lights in my house, right? The lights in rooms and overhead and stuff like that. The lights I'm talking about are the ones in the computer. And the reason that I don't turn them off, another portion of that is because every time I turn them on or off, I would have to adjust the brightness down to where I have them right now. And that's fucking annoying. So I'd rather just leave them on.
Maybe instead of Pokemon, I need to get you some normal fucking lights so you can control your goddamn phone or a remote. Because they are actually nice to have, but yeah, it's you can still defend your light habits. I'm not here to shame you, but I am going to judge you. You can do what you want, but
I don't feel any shame.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. But I don't know. I just do not like Kristen Cole's story. But then again, I also don't like the Alicent and Helena story either. That started off being a little bit more interesting because Rhaenyra was, keeping a close eye on them. I think for that, though, I just hate Mysaria. I cannot stand her. And sure, you're supposed to.
She has been very annoying.
Yeah,
like the fact that she's there, the fact that she has any trust from Rhaenyra is annoying. And like we're seeing in real time why that's another stupid decision from Rhaenyra. To ever let her get this involved and ever have this much trust in her, because ultimately they have different priorities. Like Mysaria, they've turned her into this person who only cares about the regular people, which turns her into this character should be even a positive light, which I think is a mistake. You should have made her a weird evil bitch.
Because she's a woman. You don't want to portray a woman as being evil. I mean, my God, don't we always just want to see the same types of female characters over and over and over that have been wronged by men, and then the women connect because they were wronged by men? Because that's the only connection that Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Mysaria could ever share.
Yeah. Everybody, right?
And
Every
Helena
woman in
too.
this thing's been harmed by men. Even though Rhaenyra is the one who fucking raped a dude. Even though Rhaenyra is the one who fucking is like just a massive fucking whore and destabilized the realm and all these things. Everyone's got some bad story about how men have done something to them. I'm so tired of seeing attempted sexual assault, by the way. You've showed me, 4 and 5 episodes? We got to look, if you're going to keep doing this, at least show me one. At least give me an actual rape. Like
Well,
you're
because
fucking
it's
doing all this
you're
stuff.
saying it's
Show
basically
me
just the
rape on screen if
threats.
you're gonna do it.
Right. Your argument is just that it's constantly threatened that like this could happen to these poor women.
Yeah.
And I think that I think a big reason is with the base Game of Thrones show is they weren't afraid to show like sexual violence and sexual scenes just because it was so prominent in the source material. But with this, they're almost afraid to because they've tried to appeal more towards a mass audience and they know that content like that is going to bother people. But ultimately, I don't think that we should try to be appealing to normies who are going to bitch and moan and groan and complain about violence in a show where family members are murdering other family members. You've got wars, you've got famine, you've got all of these awful things that are happening. Like, if you're going to have a show or a movie or a game or any kind of content that is supposed to appeal to adults, you actually have to follow through with those adult themes. Otherwise, there's no point to say, oh, by the way, this could happen. Like, clearly, we know that it could happen.
I don't actually want to see a rape on screen, right? But
Well, yeah, there'd be
like
no point
I'm
to
just being
that.
like hyperbolic because I get it. I get what you're trying to tell me. I
Yeah.
understand that in war, fucking men do bad things. I get it. Thank you so much. Like the nail has been fucking hammered in. You don't need to keep hitting it over and over and over again.
It was
So that's why
like
I'm like,
two
look, all these attempted rapes, somebody's at least got to fucking get one, Just saying.
It's like 2 episodes ago with Alicent and I think it was Jasper, the Master of Coin, that they were like, "Oh my God, this thing's gonna happen," and then it was stopped at the very last minute. It's like, why would you even put that in? We get that Alicent is a woman in this very bad situation where she is clearly uh in a vulnerable spot where all of the people around her, like Rhaenyra, for example, could have bad shit happen to her, or she has no agency, she has no way to protect herself. Like, no shit, you didn't need to even put that scene in for us to understand that.
And to be fair, it actually is a big thing that comes up in George's writing. Like George actually writes a lot about like about what happens to women in this world
Yeah.
and how they get assaulted, bad things that happen, how they get taken advantage of, their lower
Yeah.
status because of their that is the thing that George writes about, and that's all fair, but it's been enough. I've seen enough of it. You don't need to show me every episode that a woman might get raped. Like, I know it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like this episode and the last episode too were
I actually like this episode overall. I like the Aegon stuff a lot. The Aegon and Loras finally unloading on Aegon and being like, "You're a fucking shit
yeah, it
king.
was
You're a
nice for
shit
that
guy.
to
You're a shit
finally
man."
happen.
Yeah. I like the Ormond Daeron stuff.
I really like the Ormond Darren storyline. I
Now
was
I
a
still think
little
the fake Darren was like really stupid and kind of pointless.
yeah.
Like overall, like
Yeah.
as a plot point. But in terms of the Ormond and Darren stuff, I'm enjoying that. The fact that Ormond is just this fucking psychopath who
Yeah.
Darren is like trying to make sure that he survives this shit. You know what I mean? I like the
Yeah,
fact they
which
played Syvass.
I think that my issue is right. He's got this fucking dragon that he could just have left on at like a million opportunities, but I also understand that he knows that there is this war that is going on that right now he is shielded by and or shielded from and protected from because he does truly believe that Ormond will protect him, even though Ormond is constantly telling him, "Hey, you're like this fucking heathen and you've got this heathen's blood in you, so that's bad." And so I think that that's a little questionable, but how old is Darren supposed to be right now?
Um, I don't know exactly what his age is in the show because everyone's
Yeah.
ages are so messed up and some of the cast scenes are so but I would imagine 14, 15 probably in the
Okay.
show.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
That is maybe another element to it. I think though,
And he's also been raised by Ormond. Like
yeah. But
He's
he
been
clearly
raised in
knows
this.
that he's a little bit fucked up in the head, so there is
100%.
that. I was very,
But what do you
very
do? Where do you go?
yeah, that's
That's the
true.
question for Darren. Where if he was going to take his dragonfly, where does he go? Aegon is supposedly fucking dead. Aemond is fucking missing. King's Landing is ruled by the blacks. Like where does Darren go right now?
Yeah, that is also another angle. That's why I was asking how young he is, because, you know, a 12-year-old versus a 15-year-old versus a 18 or a 20-year-old are going to think very differently about it, which I was I feel a little bit pissed off with the end of this episode because of the gold cloaks. First of all, these are trained killers and defenders of the city. Like, how did they all get killed so easily? But second of all, I don't know if you had seen the concept art that they released, where the
No.
writing on the wall behind it was basically supposed to be that, like, this is a gift from your king, Darren. And then the report with that image was that that statement was supposed to be basically painted everywhere around the city, and that was supposed to create disrest within Flea Bottom more specifically, but throughout King's Landing, which was supposed to add another angle, but apparently they just like started to run out of time with the like plans that they had for the episode, so they had to scale that back.
I didn't see that. I didn't watch any behind
Yeah.
the scenes stuff for this episode yet. Um, I want to know who's doing the killing, right? And I think there's a decent chance that, and somebody actually just said it in the chat. I think there's a decent chance that Ormond hired faceless men to do this.
It could be, yeah.
And there's a couple little hints throughout there.
Yeah.
There's a couple little hints that there might be, and some of them it could just be us reading way too much into it. But the fact that the guy they tortured the information out of, so I never saw his face, you know, shit like this.
Mhm.
I think there's a high likelihood because yeah, now let's be honest, everybody in the city watch is not some highly trained whatever. There's a lot of gold cloaks, depending on the era, depending on the time, who aren't exactly up to snuff. Sometimes they're
Right.
just kind of like, they're just policemen, right? They're not like special fucking forces. They're like standard cops. These are not all Kingsguard. And but I still do think with so many people being taken out with no witnesses and stuff like this, it has to be somebody that's pretty well trained. And
Yeah.
I would love if they brought the faceless men into it.
I think that would be really, really cool, but it's also like, would they do that? Because I don't think that they would have enough time. We know that there's only 3 more episodes left of this season, and then there's only one more season, and that's going to be it. When you start introducing like the faceless men, for example, are you cutting off a bunch of other storylines, or are you then adding on length to, let's say, the next season? Because we know that there's going to be far less green screen time. Some of these greens are going to end up either dying or being locked away. They're not going to be, one would assume, a big part of the next season. And so, are you replacing green storylines or even black storylines? Because there are a couple of the Team Black characters that may, you know, bite the bullet in the show fan fiction that we have, and then you're replacing it with that, or is it just going to be a simple 30-second nod to this group?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have an entire like faceless. I don't think we're going to have like, you know, 20 minutes of screen time per episode with the faceless men or anything, House of Black and White. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I just think that's in all likelihood, we're going to get a faceless man reference in the same way that we got like kind of a little lore drop for the Yellow Toad of Dorne and stuff like that with some of the things here. But I think I think that was done with intention. It wasn't just a pointless lore drop
Right.
about, you know, the Princess of Dorne for no reason. It was the entire mindset of the Dornish people, unbowed, unbent, unbroken. And I think that when the way you see Kristen Cole's refusal to give up and his decision to go out the way that he wants to actually has a lot to do with that. And he is Dornish. And I don't know. I think that was a good lore drop that also provides a little bit of weight to what's happening in the show. I'm not expecting a massive side plot with the Faceless Men. I just think that that's who they've hired.
That's who he's
Um,
hired, right?
and I enjoy this Hightower stuff, to be honest, because the Hightowers are so mysterious in the actual books, and they are very tight with the Maesters. They are very tight with the Septons, and I really enjoy the anti-Targaryen factions that are being shown in both this show and in Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Well, right, because that is the primary, because you're so used to only hearing about the Targaryens and how great and cool and awesome they were, or if it is somebody that is against the Targaryens, how they're heathens and they're inbred and they're awful and they're bad. But in this show, the whole entire point of this show really and truly is the Targaryens versus the Hightowers, and it is nice for them to actually play into that so much. I still wouldn't say that it's quite like 50-50 for the screen time, and I don't necessarily think that it should be. I think that it should lean more into the Targaryens, and I do want there to still be, a little bit of mystery and that little bit of intrigue with the Hightowers, because I would hate for them to almost like set this image into your head too much. I like them being more mysterious, but yeah, I do really like, as the season has gone on, I've really liked the Ormond storyline and the Darren storyline. I think that that is really cool. And even, hearing more about Kristen and Gwaine, I don't like that pairing very much, but it is still interesting in like the grand scheme of things, I suppose, as long as it goes somewhere. We do know basically where it's going to go unless they throw one more curveball in there.
Like I do think there's a lot of character issues with the show, like with Massaria, with Alicent hanging around. I don't think a lot of that stuff's been done very well.
Yeah.
Like changing White Worm's character, trying to make things up for Alicent to do, because they've made her and Rhaenyra's relationship such a focal part of the show, where really she shouldn't have anything to do. But I do have to say, like, as somebody who's into the universe, a lot of the little world building stuff that they're doing, I'm really intrigued by. Like the setup between what's happening with the Faith, the antagonistic way that you've got these anti-Targaryen sentiments from people who are very faithful to the Seven and the Westerosi culture. And then what do you see Rhaenyra and Daemon doing? You see them at the Sept pretending like they give a fuck, but really shitting all over this religion and shitting all over this culture, when really they've got dragons. That's all they fucking need, and these people should bow down to them. Like, the Targaryens have a lot of disdain for the Westerosi culture, and the Westerosis have a lot of disdain for the Targaryens. Like, I like the way they've built some of that stuff up in the show.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we'll see what is going to happen during next week's episode. I haven't watched the trailer, because every week they release the episode trailer. I didn't watch that yet. But I mean, I'm gonna finish the show. I'm gonna keep watching. We've only got one more fucking season and then 3 episodes left, which it feels. And again, I know why last season they didn't actually get the chance to finish that season, and then they had to shove the basically end of last season into the beginning of this one, but it feels so disjointed because of that, because it feels like, oh, it's actually only really just starting, and we should have.
It feels like the third. This is like the third episode of the season. Yeah, and we've only got 3 more to go.
Fifth, right?
Yeah,
and maybe they should have stretched this to 10 episodes, and then it would have felt a little bit better. But I mean, at the same time, I'd also rather them just kind of get the show on the road instead of add in more stupid ass fucking plot lines and have Rhaenyra find a different girlfriend and then Daemon cause fucking drama with her. Like, I think that like, I don't even want to call it a love triangle, is so fucking stupid. Daemon will kill children, but not her. Get her the fuck out of here. Well, get her out.
Look, Daemon would have no problem killing her if she wasn't with Rhaenyra, right?
Right.
Because
I don't know, she was with
Damon.
Rainier on the fucking stairwell. Oh my god, you've got these stupid bitches trying to escape. Just say, oh my gosh, there was a clash. Allison ends up dead. Massaria ends up dead. Leave Helena, because she's a
Well,
nice, cutie
Damon's not
little
there to
girl.
witness that, so who
Well,
knows if
I
he was there,
know.
what he would do. But because of this Damon who is committed to Rhaenyra now, like he's not going to kill her because if he does, he's like Rhaenyra gets him out of there. Like that's
Yeah.
it for him. Right? He has no problem killing a goat herder. He has no problem fucking torturing a person. He has no problem, killing people for Laenor and stuff. But this would be something that would sever his and Rhaenyra's relationship permanently if he did that. And he
Yeah.
can't do that right now. And he won't do that.
Ugh.
I do think that Damon really cares more about the gold cloak thing than finding Vhagar? Or do you think that he's a little bit scared to go to Harrenhal? Because Alice said that he would die if he comes back.
I don't know, because on one hand, I feel like he is just trying to put out what he views as the smallest fire, especially when that fire is so close to home.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I do also think that it would be obvious that he would be maybe mildly afraid or nervous about the idea of potentially facing Vhagar and like never coming back. So it is, it is both. I think right now though, I'm just sort of leaning into he wants to put out the easiest fire first, because there are already so many issues to deal with that they're just going to continue to be stacked on top of each other.
I do think that Damon is thinking more clearly about the problems at home. And I think it's the right thing to do with, like, we don't know where Vhagar is, so what the fuck's the point of going there anyway? I do think it's the right thing to do to take care of this, because this is a problem. And unless they do something really crazy, this shit is going to be a big problem for Rhaenyra. How the people in the city feel about her.
And that was why I was so shocked to see this image that I brought up like 10 minutes ago, because we were talking about it. Apparently this message was supposed to be plastered all over King's Landing, and it talks about King Darren, but they were basically like, we had to cut that storyline back because we didn't have enough time to fully execute it, and it was supposed to be basically mean even more people were upset among the common folk, and it was going to create even more issues for the gold cloaks and everything. So I don't know, I thought that would have been cool, but yeah, I also understand that they threw in 2 episodes that should have been filmed years ago at the start of this season. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy that we're already more than halfway through the season, though. It just doesn't feel that way.
I think we're halfway through perfectly.
Yeah, but there's only, 3 more episodes left?
I mean, I think we're halfway through season 3.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah. But it isn't technically the case. But it is what it is. We'll probably talk about the show next week, unless nothing else happens. Then fuck that, we'll just talk about it the week after, as we get into I guess close to the season finale. But every time we don't talk about it, people are like, what are your thoughts on House of the Dragon? It's a fucking show.
And I didn't get to do a review last night because Gary's traveling. So I think we're going to be doing.
I also understand that for Ryan, having to talk about this one episode 5 times in a 24-hour period kind of drives you insane.
It's true.
Yeah. But all right, Taker, thank you so much for the 5. Vera has to see the Spider-Man Little Caesars commercial and give her take. Ryan just opened a killer pack and he's just loving life at his second job. I saw on X the Little Caesars thing, the commercial. So I did.
People think that it was me.
I mean, I gotta keep it a buck. It really does fucking look like you.
How
much did you get paid for the ad slot?
Not enough, but I think there's some similarities. But
yeah, like almost everything.
No, I move way better than that guy.
Do you?
do.
Uh-huh. But again, Taker, thank you for the 5. Much appreciated. Blood Viper, thank you for the 19 months. No, Ryan, it's not a a man-woman thing to turn lights off when not using / needing. It's a fucking lazy thing. Hail Vera, my lady. Hi. Yeah, it is lazy.
Well, you sound like a simp bitch, and you didn't even use proper English in your chat.
Shut
So
up. Holy fuck, Ryan.
what?
Come on, Ryan.
What? Sorry, Blood Viper.
You're being a bitch. All right, what's your retort then?
Hold on. You've been an asshole to me
What?
this entire stream.
Yeah,
I'm
because
I'm
it's
criticizing the chatter.
It's a stupid fucking take that you need to min-max your time by not wasting 10 seconds.
Yeah. 10 seconds adds up over time. And as I already explained, I don't leave every light in my fucking house on. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these 2 specific
It
lights
doesn't
that
matter
are
if you're
fucking
talking about
annoying to
these
have to
2
readjust.
specific lights.
That's it.
People
These
are
lights
now going to
stay
mock
on,
you for
period.
it.
So that you know what? When I get breaking news, I can fucking walk in here just like I did with Ryan Clark. Just like I did with Ryan Clark right before the stream, Vera. Ryan Clark got fired from ESPN. You wouldn't know this because it's a sports thing.
Yeah,
I
because
walked
sports
right
are
in
fucking
here.
stupid.
My computer was on. My lights were on. Go.
Okay, Ryan. Again, as I said, you could just get lights that you turn on or off with a fucking button. You need a better reason than I'm min-maxing 10 seconds of my day.
I don't need a better reason.
You do. You need a better reason.
And I'm sure as shit never going to be like, "Hail Vera, my lady." I'm never going to do that.
Yeah. But you're also in fucking DMs when I send you Pokemon being like, thank you so much, you're so awesome. So you kind of knew it
much,
too.
you're awesome. That's what I said. Did I ever say, thank you, my lady?
It's him saying hi. Tips the fedora.
Gotta replace that fucking top hat with a fedora.
I would say you need a fedora, but it wouldn't fit on your fucking head with all that stupid ass hair that's stacked up like a tower of Pringles.
If anyone wants to buy me one, it's 7 3/4.
Oh yeah, also there is a poll in the chat for what Ryan should play next. Mixtape is winning right now with 54%. But there's also Dustborn and Bloomin' Rage. So, guys, make sure to vote. But I think Ryan, next you're playing Mixtape.
All right. Next I'm playing Star Fox.
You actually have to finish Mixtape, though. It's only like 5 hours.
Yeah, okay. If I can do that in 5 hours, I can play that.
Yeah, I think that I finished it in like 5 hours. Mixtape.
Ronan for $5 on Rumble says, Ryan, ever hear the clapper for lights? I don't have one, apparently. But I have heard of the clapper. West for $5 says, Vera, want to get your take on why Ubisoft would censor Black Flag? France is a hypersexual society. E.g., 50 Shades of Grey was rated 12+. Why would they censor an M-rated game?
That is true, but at the same time, they're not trying to make games that appeal to their fellow wee baguette Frenchmen. They're trying to make games that appeal to the masses. And so they believe that in order to get the most people buying a title possible, you need to sanitize it and censor it, and you need to have the least amount of what could be viewed as offensive content in the experience possible. And Ubisoft has done this for years. This isn't anything new to them. They have uglified women. They have changed character models. They have altered certain themes in remakes and remasters. So it's not surprising to see that this happened. It is disappointing, though, because otherwise Resynced is a really good game. Yes, I did my review on it the other day, and my review will be going up on my second channel, I think tonight or tomorrow. But it's got a lot of modern AAA problems where it is buggy, it is glitchy, it technically is rough, but besides the technical issues and the censorship, it is a really good remake for all intents and purposes. And it is very disappointing that we see this happen so often. And well, fuck Ubisoft. We should never trust Ubisoft anyway. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard from most people that have actually played it, like the gameplay's good, like it's fun, it's
Yeah, it
solid.
is.
And like they cover up a little cleavage, they cover up a statue.
Oh, some
Um,
of the women though, they look
really
so
bad.
bad. Oh my god, they look absolutely horrendous. Like besides Anne and Caroline, all of the other women look like fucking grimace. I don't know how else to explain it. They just look so bad.
They look like grimace.
They do.
I think I did see a screenshot of that. Yeah.
They just, oh man, it really makes me depressed because there are, of course, brothel ladies. Who the fuck would want to sleep with one of these wenches? I mean, come on, man. That is
Or why
not
they all got
good.
that same face?
Yeah. Like some of these are like
Wait, is
these
one of
two.
them? Hold on. Is one of them just black? Is that the
Yeah, she's
issue with
just
the one?
black. Yeah, is that just the issue? Yeah, that's
Is that
basically
what's going on? Hey, that one's black. Like, hey, all
it.
these ugly women and then a black. What? How
I
horrifying.
actually think that these would be perfect character models if you gave them beards in a Lord of the Rings game. Otherwise, they do not look like women you'd want to pay coin to spend a night with. That's for fuck's sake, sure. Top left, you have fucking Aloy. Uh, Over on the right, you have the bartender from Shrek. On the
Yeah.
bottom left, like I don't know who that looks like, but yeah. And then at the bottom right, you have Yasuke's sister. None of these women are appealing.
So the top right, can you open this on another tab so you can zoom in?
Yes. Open image, a new tab.
Can you zoom
Yes.
in on that? I want to look at the guy in the background.
Yeah, he looks rough as
he's
well.
he's wait, he's looking right at her though. He's thinking about it. Look, the thing is,
You
bro,
got the
all these
fucking he got the tech support in the background
yeah.
looking her up and down, yeah.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. These are all you have all these like little islands, these little random islands you come up that there might be one bar or whatever. You don't have a ton of options, all right? There's
I
not a
mean,
ton of
the
options.
problem is like Edward wanted to leave his gorgeous fucking wife for fame and fortune and riches. This is the best in the port that you can get after being away from your wife for several years. Oh, that's
You go
that's
to another
rough.
port.
I guess technically Caroline didn't have anything to worry about if these are the best that the women look. Ugh, God, it's so depressing. This is the best we can get in a fucking game now. The men always look great in video games. And well, I don't want to say they always look great, but when you are taking a real man in the real world and you're adding him into a game like Cameron Monaghan in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, he looks so amazing. But then you get women like Humberly Gonzalez in Star Wars Outlaws who have 50 different faces in all of these different scenes. Like it is just so annoying, but it's intentional. Like they could have left the women looking exactly how they did in the original game, except for just being slightly updated, like a new coat of paint, but they completely altered them. So
Well,
yikes.
at least Bethesda's focused on Elder Scrolls 6.
Why would that be good?
I don't know. Full speed ahead. I can't wait for it. I've only been
Bethesda's
waiting
gar
8 years.
Bethesda's garbage now though. Did you see the fucking Starfield characters?
No, I didn't play that game.
Yeah, I actually didn't hate the base release, but after losing my save and having all these bugs and glitches and then seeing what else they did with the content, my opinions definitely fucking went downhill. That's for sure. But it is what it is. Not shocking. Heat Haze, thank you for the 4.99. Love Vera giving Ryan hell. Sorry, Ryan. You guys rock. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Ryan is always pissed off, but yeah, it is fun to piss Ryan off even fucking more than he already normally is. So, yeah. David, thank you for the 5. Two questions, Vera. Thoughts on the Friday the 13th prequel series? I can't wait for that. And for both of you, what movie have you liked but changed your minds? You mean that you liked originally but changed your minds and ended up didn't liking? Um, I don't know. I am excited for the Friday the 13th prequel series. I am sick and tired of prequel and sequel series. I'm sick of seeing everything rebooted and remade. I think that it looks solid though, but I'm definitely cautiously optimistic because I don't trust anyone in Hollywood. So, yeah.
It looks like you don't even know if you're excited for it or not. I can't wait for that. Uh,
Yeah, that is true. We did add
yeah.
the question mark.
Um, what movie did you like but change your minds? I don't think that's something that's happened to me too often. Like I've liked something and then after a long period of time I really hated it or vice versa too much. Um I will say there's times where I walk out of a theater and feel a certain way and by the time I've driven home I feel a different way about it. But that's kind
Yeah.
of based on my own processing of it, not any kind of like outside things or not after a long length of time. Like for instance, Endgame. For me, Endgame, when I seeing that in a full theater, you know, opening day or the day after or whenever, when you got so many people cheering, so many people so excited, all of this shit going on, right? Um, you're like caught up in the moment of like this huge group shared experience, the culmination of a decade of storytelling and some like big moments, some like emotional payoffs and everything. And you're like, oh man, okay. But then by the time I drove the 20 minutes home back to my house, I was just thinking about all the problems I had with the movie, you know?
Yeah.
And so by the time I got home, I felt completely different about it than I did immediately, like after that emotional high of like watching it in a theater with a bunch of people. But didn't take any like outside influence or anything. It's just, you know, by the time I settled and thought about it a little bit, I did not like the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to off the top of my head come up with any that I initially liked or, changed my opinion on. But yeah, I mean, occasionally you maybe think something is like an 8, but then you think about plot holes or issues with characters or storylines, and maybe it's brought down a level or two, but I wouldn't say that it went from like really enjoying it to really disliking it. So,
I'm also like really stubborn. Like,
yeah,
uh,
once you've made up your mind, that's it, and you're not going to change your stance, and you're always going to cope and say, "Nope, this is my stance, and I got to stick with it, regardless of what
yeah,
evidence is thrown at you."
I'm pretty stubborn in general. So
Yeah, we can tell. But thank you, David, for the 5. Robert Hayes, thank you for the 4.99. I noticed a surge in YouTubers playing the Arkham games. They're so fucking good. I love the Arkham games so much. I love them. And it's so sad we're never gonna get a good one again.
I feel like that happens every like year or two where some people like go back and
A
play it
new
and then
wave
other
of
people see them playing it
people.
and they're like, you
Yeah,
know, I should play that too because they are fucking good.
they are. I streamed it. I of course I've played them so many times, but I had streamed the series back in 2024 when Kill the Justice League came out, and then this past like Christmas slash New Year's I replayed them. I guess they're just so fucking amazing, but yeah, it just makes me sad. We're never gonna get more Arkhamverse games that are good. Even the VR game Arkham Shadows that was pretty highly rated, even though only 5 people have the VR system to play it. It was a good game, and I would have liked a sequel to it. But you don't get that because the studio is now under, and it's over. It's over, bros. Um,
D Stock, who's been shitting on me in the chat, says if I ever met Ryan in real life, I'd pretend not to know him. Bro, D Stock, if you ever came to anything, no one would know you. Everyone would know me. So congratulations on pretending not to know me, but you have heard of me. Ain't nobody know who the fuck you are.
Thank you, Ryan, for pointing and publicly shaming people in the chat.
You're welcome.
Also, Paul says, "Happy birthday, Rick."
It's not my birthday, Paul, but thank you. And my name is not
Yeah.
Rick.
I always
But
respond when he says that every stream. I go, "My name's not Rick and it's not my fucking birthday."
it's not.
No, but that's okay. It's funny. Old Geezer, thank you for the 5. Ryan, the women in black flag are like double baggers.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
And Chris, thank you
Do
for
you,
the
do you mean
4.99.
hold on? Do you mean condoms or on their head? Like, what do you mean?
On their head. That's what I would assume. And Chris, thank you for the 499. Thanks for the laughs. Well, thank you for your support. Much appreciated. Very grateful. On their heads. Okay, that's what I was thinking because
Yeah.
I mean, that's just where my mind went. But
Just in
hey,
case one rips.
yeah, I guess I wouldn't want to go within 5 feet of them, but that's just different priorities, I suppose. Maybe Eddie's that desperate. Great game, except for the fucking ugly women. It is what it is. Speaking of ugly women and they thems and
The
retards
Odyssey.
and queers, yep, time to talk about the Odyssey. So we have extensively covered the Odyssey over the past couple of weeks leading up to release. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this movie. No shocker there. The trailer had gotten massively ratioed, nearly 3-1 in dislikes to likes. We knew that the dislikes exploded to over 500,000 as the film's official X account had disabled the replies. You had the actress Lupita Nyong'o blasting Homer in the Odyssey for lack of female representation, and then said that Nolan's film considers the female perspective, yeah, because every woman in it is a victim to a evil man and they've all been wronged. And then Chris Nolan said fan backlash to the Odyssey is irrelevant, but now the movie has finally released and it's done pretty good. The controversial take on the Odyssey has destroyed projections and hit 264 million in its global debut. And I don't think that a lot of people are particularly surprised by this. Having a work like the Odyssey, which is a foundational Western piece of literature, you have Christopher Nolan's name attached, and to top all of that off, you also had, I would say, a pretty good box office time period. There wasn't a lot that it was competing with, primarily because weeks leading up to this, you had like what, Masters of the Universe, you had Moana, you had movies that nobody was going to see, or I wouldn't say the same target audience is going to see,
You've
like
got a lot of
Toy
family
Story.
movies in theaters right now
Yeah.
between Toy Story, Minions, Moana. Like that's the big competition, and that's a completely different
Yeah,
audience. Yeah.
exactly. And, when you pair all of this with a star-studded cast, and you most likely, if you've watched any movies in the past decade, you recognize half of the freaking names that are in this. It's no surprise to see that it has done really good. Now, the bigger question is, will this hold in the next couple of weeks? Because it is going to have competition with Spider-Man. Spider-Man will be releasing next week, a movie I'm, personally looking forward to. I like Spider-Man. And a lot of other people have been talking about it and been hyped for it, especially because we're getting all of the Doomsday information. But will Spider-Man cut into the Odyssey's box office pull? Probably. I mean, I don't think that it is likely that the Odyssey is going to hold this well and it's going to make another $264 million or even over 200 million in its second week. That is a possibility, of course, but this film needs to make a boatload of money for it to be considered a success. I know that there have been several articles releasing on it. The reported budget is $250 million and the reported marketing costs are $125 million. So that's about a $375 million total before the theater cut. Forbes, which is Paul Tassi, has estimated 625 to 750 million as its break-even point. I know Marvin has speculated that it's somewhere from 750 to 800 million. Either way, they're not looking to hit a break-even number. They are hoping to hit $1 billion on this film, or else why the fuck would they have made it in the first place? Companies do not want to just make back what they put into it.
Yeah, I think that I think $1 billion is the threshold for success for the movie. And I
Yeah.
know everyone's saying, "Oh, well, there's this, and Nolan gets his back end cut." I don't know anything about that. I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know if that's verified by anybody. Let's just go by what we have and what we know. 250, 125 to 150 marketing. Yeah, we're looking at 750 to 800 million to break even. I think if this movie came out and made $900 million, it would be viewed as a disappointment and should be viewed as a disappointment because of what you put into it. You're expecting to get $1 billion with this cast, with Nolan, with the Odyssey. I think that for anybody after this opening weekend claiming victory on one side or the other, I think it's way too early to do so. I think it's too early to do a victory lap for, oh guys, look, we fucking showed them that we can do race swaps and that you tried to get this movie canceled because it was woke and it backfired. I think it's way too early to be saying that because this needs to have a very good run at the box office. Chris Nolan's history would indicate they usually do. I think this is a little different. Now, I never thought that this movie would be a fucking flop. I never thought this movie would come in and, only be a $500 million box office. I never thought that at all. And I've been saying it for fucking weeks because I knew that it was going to open well and I knew it was going to perform reasonably well. I think that one of the problems surrounding this movie is whenever you have movies that hit the that hit the like past the entertainment space and go into like the political landscape and all these random people, you get a lot of people talking about movies and talking about budgets that they don't have any idea what they're talking about. That's unfortunately the place we find ourselves. I see a bunch of political commentators, conservative space, whatever, who are now being like, oh, it was really a backfire for us to go to war with this film because now it's going to be like, you guys are fucking retarded. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Like people are giving their opinions on this movie, just like every movie weeks before. The idea that people are now, even some people in this space that have a fucking axe to grind for one reason or another, whether it's because their channels are failing or they don't have a job they used to have anymore. You're seeing a couple people that are being like, the only way to do this is to stop talking about these things. Us talking about it helped it out. You're a fucking retard. You are a fucking spineless, retarded piece of shit if you're actually putting that out there. Because look at all the examples we have that are so clearly not the case. Some of the most talked about projects in fucking history the past 5 years, things like The Marvels, things like Snow White, things like The Acolyte. These were talked about maybe more than anything else that released around those periods of times. And these things were some of the biggest catastrophic failures we've ever seen. Why? Because they were bad. Now, I think a lot of people who are watching this are coming out and feeling pretty good about it in terms of the people that were most excited to see the Odyssey, the people that bought their IMAX tickets a year in fucking advance. And I'm not surprised that those people are mostly satisfied with what they got because they're probably big Chris Nolan fans. They probably have liked most of the stuff that's come out. So they're going to be probably predisposed to like this a lot more. The difference is for this movie, so many people are prioritizing IMAX and there's a lot of kind of almost empty regular screenings. I think IMAX comprised of like, what was it? Around 25% of the total take for this movie and its opening, global opening weekend. I think it was like over $52 million total.
Yes, it was. I think it was 54 million was like the estimated that I saw. But yeah, right around there.
Right. So, and that's a huge number. I think it's one of the biggest shares of IMAX in history. So what this movie is going to rely upon over the next several weeks are people going out and giving it a chance or repeat viewings. It needs 4 times its opening weekend to essentially hit that $1 billion point. And it certainly can do it. I'm not surprised that it opened bigger than Oppenheimer because quite frankly, why wouldn't it? I'm a little surprised it's all the way at 264. I thought it'd be in that 220, 230 area, more than Oppenheimer. 264 is big for an R-rated 3-hour movie. It just is. I think for anybody that's trying to downplay this and present this opening weekend as a failure of some sort, on the other side, I think you are retarded. For what this movie is, it's a really solid opening weekend. We'll see how it plays out. I think it could finish anywhere from 750 to 800 million to 1.2 billion possibly. I thought it was a very mid movie. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I think it's a subversion of Homer's original work and original message. I think Odysseus is a very different character with very different motivations in this. I think there's some good acting performances. I also think there's some really shitty ones. The DEI casting is distracting as fuck. And I'm not just talking about Black Helena Troy and trans Ellen Page. I'm talking about the random background characters of Odysseus's crew, which it just looks like a fucking Berkeley college classroom. It's really off-putting.
What do you mean you don't want Asians and Indians being part of his crew? What do you mean? That's just so 2026.
Yeah, it's like for them to be standing on the shore, be like, "We're Greeks from Ithaca," and it's a fucking Indian, a black, and an Asian. Shut the fuck up. That should piss me off. So we'll see what happens. I think that, look, this would not be the first time that a bunch of political commentators swept in and tried to take advantage to get clicks and talk about things they know nothing about. It happened with Barbie, right? When Barbie, a couple years ago, when Barbie was getting ready to come out, and a couple things had gone viral from whether it was the promotional material or the actors saying things, and a bunch of political pundits who know nothing about the box office and who have whatever you think their takes on movies are, that besides the point, but they don't know anything about the industry because they don't actually cover it unless it's something that gets them clicks. And they're like, "Oh, this is woke trash. This is going to fail. This is going to be an embarrassment." It's like, you have no idea what you're talking about. There's a huge audience for that. For this, it's different because I think there's a lot of valid backlash for this. I just don't know how it's going to play with normie audiences. We are seeing people who are super engaged, whether it's in culture war issues, politics and entertainment. We're seeing the people that are the most engaged over that backlash towards this movie. We're also seeing the people who are the biggest fans of this director and we're the most excited to see this on the other side. How do normies feel about it? I don't know if we know that yet because they haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah,
so
it's like
time will tell over the next couple weeks how it does. I wouldn't be surprised if it does get to that $1 billion point, but it's certainly not a guarantee.
Well, right, because it would be insane if we only saw a, let's say for argument's sake, 10% or 20% drop, and that would be it. There's no possible way that it's going to make in week 2 another $264 million unless this is truly a god level movie with the normies and everybody wants to see it.
Are you talking in the next week or next weekend?
Over the next, I was thinking more so like going into weekend 2, hitting like weekend 2. But yeah, usually we'll see a significant drop. And I do think that's going to happen, especially when we get to in 2 weeks when Spider-Man comes out, because that's its only serious competition. That is the only movie that is going to be truly competing with the Odyssey. And there isn't I would say there isn't a large amount of overlap with people. Sure, there's individuals like you and I that are interested in seeing both. But I think for me personally, right, it will probably make, I would assume, like 800 to $1 billion. Given these numbers and how it did end up destroying the projections, which I didn't think that it was going to do, I can't think of the last time a movie destroyed the projections off the top of my head.
Project Hail Mary.
I thought that it did.
Even Michael.
Yeah, okay. I thought that those did pretty close to what was estimated, though. But yeah, you're probably right. You're more of a movie buff than I am, apparently. You're just so much fucking cooler. You and your lights that you never goddamn turn off. But yeah, I think that the Odyssey, it's really no shocker to see that it did good weekend 1. And I think that, anybody that was saying that it was going to completely flop clearly doesn't know the reach and the scope that Nolan has, that these actors have, that even then just name the Odyssey has. And so I suppose we'll see what it's going to do over even the next couple of weeks. But I think that it is there to stay in the theaters for a significant amount of time. It's definitely not going to be a fucking movie that's going to be pulled as soon as it stops making money. They're going to farm it for all that it's worth. And yeah, I know that people have been bringing up Spider-Man Brand New Day. I've mentioned it a couple of times already in this conversation, but that's headed for about 180 million opening, which is domestically, which is still, a ways away from even what the Odyssey made. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, so Odyssey was at 123, I think was the final count domestically. Yeah, right. So Spider-Man obviously going to come swinging in, no pun intended. But I mean, look, as we've seen with
But
stuff
with the
like Barbie and
global box
Oppenheimer out together,
office.
2 movies can make money in the theater at the same time.
Mhm.
It does not mean that because one is making money, the other won't be.
Right.
Not that this is like a Barbenheimer thing, but, yeah, the thing will be the IMAX theaters because I think what is it? I think a week after Spider-Man comes out, then it has IMAX stuff, and that obviously
Yes.
is the huge, huge pull and a very impactful number when you're charging people $30 to go see a movie instead of 12 or 15. It's a
Mhm.
huge difference, because you don't need a lot of people to go to make the same amount of money. But
Yeah.
what I think for next weekend, I think the hold is gonna be very good for, uh
Odyssey?
like one of these big movies, yes.
I think
I
that
think
the
it's gonna have a
Odyssey.
50%
Mhm.
drop, maybe less.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 45
Yeah.
to a 50, so I
Yeah,
suppose we'll
because look,
see.
like, people have a year ago, the IMAX showings for opening weekend sold out.
Yes, they did.
There are
Mhm.
IMAX showings that were already sold out before it came out this for next weekend because of people prioritizing seeing it at IMAX rather than a regular screen. So it's not going to behave the same way a normal movie comes out. You have to look at the way Chris Nolan movies perform. And I think Oppenheimer had what, like a 40% drop or something. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I also think that Oppenheimer wouldn't have done as good if it wasn't for the fucking Barbenheimer war and men being like, "Yeah, I need to go and see Oppenheimer to own the fucking chicks." But I feel the same way on the other side. I feel like I think Barbie still would have done really good, but I think that there's quite a few women that also went to try to pump up these numbers and be like, I'm supporting my side. Everybody loves to fight for a cause.
Yeah,
S-
it's tough, right? Because we can't really know, right?
Yeah,
Would
no.
Oppenheimer have done what it did if not for the Barbenheimer meme? I don't know. Would
Yeah.
Barbie have done what it did if not for the Barbenheimer meme? I don't know. Like it's really tough to know. I do think both movies were probably helped a little bit by this viral sensation and people seeing Instagram reels and going and doing it for themselves. Probably both of them were helped a little bit. And that's not something we see. I think they're trying to speak it into existence for Doomsday. And I don't know if it's going to pay off as well for Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3 because it wasn't natural and it wasn't normal. Like the audience made up the Barbenheimer thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you now have corporate Hollywood trying to push the Doomsday thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they think that that is a good marketing tactic based off of what Barbenheimer did on social media, what these films did in theaters, which, hey, they can try. I don't think that it is going to particularly work out. I think that that was a crazy one-off situation, and it's not a good marketing tactic. It wouldn't make me want to go and specifically see one movie over another. I mean, for me, I was obviously much more interested in Oppenheimer than I fucking was Barbie. But in the case of Doomsday, I would say I'm interested in both of them. I have my problems with the modern Dune movies, and I also think that, the MCU is in a very rough state, so my hype level for that is much lower than my hype level would have been for an Avengers movie a decade ago, and a decade plus ago. So yeah, I guess we'll see what the Odyssey ends up doing. It's doing good though.
It had a very good opening
Yeah,
for that type of movie, certainly.
for sure. All right. The infamous, thank you for the 199. Ryan Shover, your Peaceable commercial. I saw it.
She already saw it.
I did. Ryan looked great in that commercial. Truly brought out the headlights on his fucking forehead, blinding everybody as they're. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
It wasn't me, but I appreciate everyone's attention on the Little Caesars commercial. I would do a Little Caesars commercial in a heartbeat, by the way.
I
Or
saw
Pizza Hut,
that
or
so
Papa
many
John's,
times
or
on my X
Domino's.
feed. I,
I
I
would
don't
do
think
it.
I got tagged in any of the posts, but I did see it pop up quite a few times against my will, or else I would not have I would not have looked at it that many times. But congrats, Ryan, on your breakout commercial role. Proud of you.
Hey, I've been fighting that's this entire thing, 7 years on YouTube, 7 years a slave, all to break into the industry in a Little Caesars 2-second appearance in a commercial.
Yeah. Taker, thank you so much for the 2. Moana, more like Noana, gonna pay for that. I think the drop off with Moana's been fucking hilarious. I think it's hilarious that they truly thought that The Rock was going to be able to sell a movie, and he wasn't.
Well, the weird thing is, it's like I don't mind them casting The Rock in this movie at all because he's the voice. Like,
Well, right, he's the voice.
I think
Yeah.
for all the movies, I'm not going to criticize them for casting The Rock in this because
No,
The Rock.
I'm not criticizing that decision. It makes sense why they would cast him in it.
Yeah, I just so this is one of those situations where I have to like remove myself and be like, I don't know why this is failing, whereas Lilo and Stitch is not. The only thing I think is just because it was too soon to do a live action remake, 10 years as opposed to 20 years for Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Because I look at the fucking trailer for Lilo and Stitch, I look at the trailer for Moana, and I think, I don't know why anybody would want to see this shit. That's the way I feel about both of them. But people hated the Moana trailer. They despised it. It got destroyed. And Lilo and Stitch went on to make over $1 billion. This one is obviously going to absolutely tank. It's done. It's over for them. But the weird thing about that is to be like, oh, it's only been 10 years to do a live action remake. You know, Moana 2 just came out, you know, and it made $1 billion fucking dollars at the box office.
Right, which you think that those people would be like, oh, you know what, I'll go see the live action as well because I'm such a big fan of Moana, or even a fraction of those people would show up, but none of them did.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
I do agree, though, that there is a very big difference between 10 and 20 years, and so you know, I'm myself personally have a lot of love and nostalgia for Lilo and Stitch, and I would be one of the people that would go to see it. Now, I didn't pay to go and see it in theaters because I barely see anything in theaters because fuck going to movie theaters and fuck giving Disney my money. But if I was going to go and see one of them, of course, I'd go see Lilo and Stitch. I have a lot more love and nostalgia for it, and I've seen it so many times. But with Moana, it was just far too soon. So I do agree. Right now, the film is projected to lose Disney over $100 million in its theatrical run, and maybe I don't know. I've seen people say maybe they should have went for something like Frozen. I think that they wanted to do Moana because they had The Rock on tap, and they wanted to do more movies with The Rock, and so they said to themselves, okay, he's usually a theater draw. People will go and see something with The Rock. He's a notable, he's a recognizable name, I guess I should say. Not a notable name, but like a recognizable name and face. And he's generally solid for marketing. But yeah, Moana has done jack shit, which... yeah, can't say I'm surprised. That trailer was rough, though. And the movie is bad, too. The movie is not good.
I've never seen the original Moana. I've never seen the original Lilo and Stitch. So, I don't know.
Lilo and Stitch is good. Lilo
Movie
and Stitch is about
Hawaiian
a crazy murderous fucking dog alien who's killing other aliens and causing chaos on Earth.
Ohana means family.
Yep, it's true.
That's all I know.
Yep, that's probably, to be fair, all you do need to know. But it's shocking to me that you have watched all of Once Upon a Time, but you haven't watched something like Lilo and Stitch. That to me seems like your priorities are out of fucking whack. Like, Once Upon a Time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing for me to watch. I agree.
Gay as fuck. I've watched it, but that's because I'm a chick. And I didn't even finish it. I gave up on it. You decided to watch a live action fucking Disney princesses. And I mean, I guess technically you did get live action Frozen in it.
That's
so that
true.
counts.
Well, look, you get Prince Charming, you get Captain Hook, you get some cool masculine characters in there.
I guess I gotta be honest. All of the men in that were kind of soy boys.
David, come on.
Yeah. Okay. David's the only one though that isn't.
Yeah, he's always a fucking hero, always ready to go in there, always
But
ready to
besides
fucking face
him,
something,
all of the other ones
straight
are
on.
losers.
Hook?
Gay.
Oh, come on.
Gay as hell. Our Aragorn is in that show though.
Rumpelstiltskin. Look, Rumpelstiltskin's a complex character. Definitely a simp for Belle, but also a badass.
He was interesting, sure, but again, like he's also kind of a stupid bitch.
I don't think he's stupid. I
He's
think
interesting, but not because he's some like positive masculinity figure.
even the most dark-hearted evil characters, male characters, can find one woman that they have a soft spot for. You know,
he had to defend his woman. What a fucking simp. It is true. But I fell off of Once Upon a Time. I gave up on that. I don't know how many seasons it got. I think it got like fucking 10 seasons or something. That, yeah. As soon as it hit Frozen, I was out. It started feeling too modern. Anyway, thank you so much for the $9.99 Annickby. I think that's how you say that. Even if castings were perfect, it would still be dog shit due to the story. I'm fed up and disgusted by these assholes taking an iconic IP and repurposing to push their brain dead messaging. I'm assuming you mean about the Odyssey. The Odyssey, this version of the Odyssey, I still think that a lot of the movie was pretty good. I thought some of the performances were pretty good. The cinematography was pretty good. I don't think from a movie standpoint it was the worst, but yes, it does take a story and this mythology that everybody knows and changes it. For me, what felt so like terrible about it was, of course, number one, them deciding to turn all of the women into victims, and all of the women were always wronged by men and they were misunderstood. But second of all, I know that Nolan had said that it was because it was supposed to be more grounded, or the way that the characters saw the gods. I hated the fact that like Zeus and Poseidon were not a part of this at all, and Hermes not being a part of this story,
and Athena
was
wasn't really
atrocious.
Either.
Right.
Like, the gods are completely removed from this, and I think you're supposed to take away from the movie questioning whether the gods are real or not. Because I think you're supposed to not know for sure whether Athena was actually there with him, or whether it's his PTSD from seeing the priestess be killed in Troy, and this is just his imagining of Athena because of that moment. I think that's what you're supposed to leave with. You're not supposed to know for sure one way or the other. I don't think it's a definitive answer. But look, I don't like... Look, Odysseus is a smart, cunning, clever warrior who is incredibly proud of himself, but he also really, really, really wants to get home. And in this one, instead of... I don't think they show him to be all that clever for the most part. I think they definitely toned down that side of things.
Right.
But instead of somebody whose downfall was their pride and end up being punished by the gods for their pride and having to work through that and get through all this shit and persevere, and who's all the time still desperately wanting to get home. 7 years on Calypso's Island, was always still refusing to stay there and wanting to go home, but she would not allow him to go home. Instead of all that happening, you have someone, Odysseus, who is very sad and hates himself because of guilt, because he is the one that led to the sacking and destruction and all the bad things that happened at Troy. Look, not once in any of my recollection of the Odyssey, like the actual poem, was Odysseus feeling guilty for what he did in Troy. It was a little bit of a sneaky trick. Yeah, it absolutely was a sneaky trick from the most clever warrior they've known. But no parts of that said he felt ashamed or guilty for it. It's fucking war at the end of the day. It's war 3,000 years ago. right?
Right.
And they were there for a fucking decade. Everybody wanted to go home. So they decided to make that a point. It's somebody who's suffering from PTSD. It's somebody who fucking hates themselves. And it's somebody who isn't even sure they want to go home because they're ashamed of what they've done. And throughout the entire thing is this layer of feminism where every single woman is portrayed as a victim in one way or the other. And all men are portrayed as basically violent and evil and need to be held back from their core urges or core desires, or else civilization will crumble. Now, I don't know if that message about violent men being the problem in society, I don't know if that message totally jives with the ending, which is still Odysseus returning and slaughtering 100 people. Like I don't know. Like that message seems a little hypocritical to me. That hey, we got to stop this cycle of violence, and the only way I can stop this cycle of violence is by perpetuating more violence. Like I don't know if that really makes sense in the grand scheme of what you're trying to tell us.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
and it is what it is, right? It's very clear that Christopher Nolan went into it wanting to tell a specific story and to subvert expectations. Of course, we knew years ago when he started promoting the fact that, and the actors started promoting the fact that it was Emily Wilson's translation. We all had our worries, and I don't think that it was maybe as bad as people expected that to be, but I also think that it was still really bad, and I can't say I'm surprised. We kind of knew that it was going to happen, but it is just unfortunate that this is what we ended up with.
Criticisms of it.
Yeah.
She has criticisms of it because they removed the gods.
Right. And I hated that so fucking much. That was so infuriating to me, especially if you're going to have depictions or interpretations of these certain gods, like, but you don't have like a Hermes type of character. Oh, it makes me mad, but I went into it expecting it to be pretty disappointing. I don't think it was as bad maybe as I anticipated, but there were elements I liked, elements I didn't like. So yeah. It is what it is. Hey Zeus, thank you for the gifted membership. Much appreciated.
Zeus.
Hey Zeus. Too bad fucking Zeus wasn't in it.
It's one of my favorite lines from Die Hard 3.
Good movie. It's been a long time since I've
it's a
seen
great
that.
movie.
Yeah. But Ryan,
do I look fucking Puerto Rican to you? He said, hey, Zeus, Greek god throwing lightning bolts up your ass. Yeah, I love that fucking line in Die Hard 3.
And you are going to be very happy to see that we got gifted 20 fucking memberships by Old Geezer Gaming. Thank you so much. Ryan, you get to take some shots. I'm almost out of this bottle. I keep saying this. I said this last week too. Only a tiny bit left.
I've emptied 2 bottles in the last. Now, to be fair to myself,
you're a drunk alcoholic who drinks off stream.
One of them had this much left, and then the other one I brought that was open from downstairs only had this much left. So it was like I didn't empty 2 full bottles. You know what I mean? But
sure.
Yeah. So I had to open one.
But thank you so much for the 20 gifted memberships. Very grateful. Jason Nelson, thank you for the 2. 17.5 million today for Odyssey, biggest Monday of the year. Yeah, I mean, it is doing really good. And we'll have to see if it's able to hold.
17.5 million on Monday.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Huge.
Yeah, that is. I didn't see that, but I don't think Jason's coming in here fucking lying. But that is really, really big for a Monday. Nicholas Garopoulos, thank you for the 2. Finally showed true Greek representation. Like me. Like you, buddy. Great fucking job. Good name. And 071 Alec, thank you for the PYG 50K, which is Paraguay. I believe that's about $8 USD. Much appreciated that. Because
did you have to do a thing online with time?
I think that I've got it down, but I might also be completely fucking wrong. Either way, it's money and I'm grateful Thank you. I like the message of the Odyssey. Don't let in me. Grant in they.
Don't let immigrants.
Oh, immigrants. I was like,
Jesus.
what? Destroy Troy. Don't let male immigrants in their. Oh, Cersei. That was another one that really pissed me off. All the women in this, though, pissed me off. Grant. Grant in they. Take your wives to Ithaca, build the wall. You know what? They do need to build a fucking wall. They really, really do.
Didn't work for Troy.
Yeah, no, it didn't, though.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There's like a whole fucking thing about that, but it was
yeah,
because they opened their doors, you know.
that is true. They did.
But they didn't open their
I
doors to let immigrants in. They opened it up to let a horse in. And
That is
I'm gonna be
true.
honest,
Yeah.
I would let a horse in. I like horses. So.
It's a gift. It's a big, cool fucking. I guess they wanted to use it as a statue. I don't know.
I don't remember if
Would
it's
I
in.
bring it in though?
I don't remember if it's in the Odyssey, or sorry, in the Iliad, or if it's in another one of the tellings of like a different side character from somebody else in the Trojan War. I don't recall precisely, but in one of the Greek tales, I don't know if it's Homer's original one or not, when they initially are considering rejecting this gift, like because it's a horse and Poseidon is like horses are Poseidons for some reason, like associated with Poseidon. And Poseidon was also one of the gods involved in the building of the walls of Troy. It's Poseidon and
Yeah.
Apollo. When they kind of like were getting ready to reject the fucking offering, some fucking monster came out of the sea and just fucking grabbed the dude who was saying that shit and fucking pulled him in and killed him. So yeah. I don't remember if that was Iliad or if it was maybe the other one, but anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but thank you for the dono. Much appreciated. And Mr. Enoch, thank you for the Canadian 15. Man, Canada's a shit show. I guess everywhere is, though. I was close to passing out during the movie 1 hour in, and it was getting hard listening to the dialogue. I almost had to go today at 10 a.m. Imagine having to sit through the fucking Odyssey at 10 a.m. What feels like the crack of dawn. I didn't have to, though, which I'm very happy about because that would have been so not fucking fun. And Alec, thank you for the PYG 10K. YouTube didn't let me write immigrants together. No, it didn't, which is, I guess, I was gonna say weird, but not shocking because it is YouTube. YouTube doesn't like the words bitch or retard. I don't even think YouTube likes the word idiot in super chats. So yeah, fuck my life. But thank you guys for all the support. And before we, wrap up the stream, we're almost at the end, shockingly.
We do
We're
have a
not
Rumble rant from
Okay, cool.
Supreme Lord saying, I watched the latest episode of House of the Dragon. So far, there have been 3 rape attempt scenes in the past month. Most recently, Alice Rivers. It's repetition. We actually already said that.
Yeah. We did. It is tiring to constantly have to, be like I don't know how to say it, like tease these scenes, like they keep teasing, oh, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. We get that this could happen. These women are in vulnerable positions and situations, and they are basically I don't know if I want to say like they have no agency because a lot of them are very clever. Like Allison can come up with a pretty fucking clever plan every once in a while, even though she doesn't really follow through on it. She has decided to get them fucking lost with no light deep into the tunnels of the Red Keep. Very, very smart of her. But yeah, I think everybody understands
They're in a
without them showing those.
They're in a tough
scenes.
spot though because like they need to get the fuck out of there because
They're lost. They're gonna have to be like in a
fucked,
fucking one of the what are they called? Like the mirror houses where they have to put one hand on the wall and follow the fucking wall the entire way.
I will say, you know who made it out of there? Arya.
Who? Oh, yeah, that is true.
But by following cats.
Which it is kind of cool that they've added the cats into the Red Keep now because of what it ends up leading to when Game
I
of
think that those
Thrones
cats are the ancestors of Sir Pounce, and like all the
in
cats that are
Balerion.
they're like, yeah, and Balerion, the black
Yeah.
cat, and everything. Like, I think those cats are the ancestors. That's what I think.
I am a lover of cats, so of course for me, I love seeing the cats around the Red Keep, but also I'm a fucking chick and I would be shocked if we didn't see some kind of sad cat scene by the end of this season. Like something bad
Oh,
happening to a cat. I'm gonna hate it. You know what? I don't know necessarily if they would. They'll say, "Oh, hey, these women could be raped, but we can't kill any cats." So, the cats are more important than the women. It's just the way that the world works.
and he also says, real quick, Supreme Lord, you'll watch Once Upon a Time or Wicked, but you won't watch Lilo and Stitch. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't understand the priority level there. Like, why
I
is
watched Wicked to review it because we were talking about it.
Yeah, but still, like, at least Lilo and Stitch is a decent movie.
I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know. I'm gonna watch Lilo and Stitch. I just made a promise to watch Lilo and Stitch, so I'm gonna watch it.
Who are you making the
And I'm sure I'm gonna
promise
love
to,
it.
though? Are you making the promise to me or Chad?
Not to you, and not to
Because I was gonna say, if you're promising to watch it, but it's my decision, there's like 50,000 other movies I would rather you watch than Lilo
I'm not
and
promising
Stitch.
you, and I'm not promising
Okay, I'm just
you.
making sure because you just said you
All right.
promised. Who the fuck did you promise then? Yourself?
Yeah, basically.
All right, Pokimane, buying yourself a fucking wedding ring and saying, I need to commit to myself.
I mean, I could use a little more self-love, I think.
Cringe. Dan Vicious, thank you for the 2. What the fuck? No Rumble? Our streams are on Rumble on Ryan's channel.
Oh yeah, and then Dan Vicious for $1 says, "Oh, it's on RK on Rumble." You're damn right it is.
Yeah, because I have a Rumble. I don't actively use the Rumble though, and so at least every week for the Rumble watchers, it's only on one channel because of course the show rotates back and forth. One week it's Ryan's channel, one week it's my channel. I don't really see the need to do that on Rumble. So Ryan does it. So yeah, if you ever want to watch on that platform, that's how you do it. Robert, thank you for the $4.99. Wasn't it Strahd von Zarovich? I think that's how you say it. Who fell for a woman in Dungeons and Dragons? Oh God, I think it was Strahd. Yeah, fucking vampire cuck. Classic. And Udite, thank you for the 5. Just looked it up. The story Ryan mentioned about the guy getting dragged into the sea is the myth of Laocoon from Book 2 of the Aeneid.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
There you, I was gonna say I have no idea which one it was, but I knew what you were talking about, like very vaguely. But I am no source for Homer's work.
That's the same book that Sinan's in. Because it's not Homer, it's
yeah.
Who fucking wrote it? And it was like 300 years after Homer's stuff. But,
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Virgil. Yeah, it might have been Virgil.
Yeah.
Because that's the book that Sinan actually comes from, not a character from Homer.
Stupid fucking Sinan. Now, the worst part about an adaptation like this is now my mind is instantly going to go to this retard who is playing this character. It makes me so annoyed. But that's true. Anyway, thank you for your 5. Much appreciated. All right, one last very, very quick story before we wrap up the FML for the week. I guess we'll end on Marathon, because why the fuck not? This is a game we have covered so much, a game that seemingly can never die, and Sony is barreling forward with keeping it alive. I guess it's no shocker given they put $250 million into the development, never mind the estimated $100 million marketing. Pretty insane to think that even though there's a difference, right? Marathon and the Odyssey are not that far off in how much money we're actually shoved into these piles of garbage, especially where something like Marathon has to have server upkeep and you have to continue to pay developers. But now we know that there is a leadership overhaul because the Marathon game director has announced he is leaving Bungie. We know that there are several other senior positions that are going to be ending up leaving as well. And my thing, right, is that I get that on one hand, this could just be him wanting to leave and jump ship as it is burning and as it is getting ready to sink. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if this was Sony who was saying enough is enough because they've put so much time and money into it. Sony invested $3.6 billion into acquiring Bungie, and they want this to be the next big game. Sony has obviously, banked very heavily on live service over the past few years with titles like Concord. They are hoping that Fair Games is going to be big. Bungie has a pretty good track record with Destiny, though Marathon has completely flopped. And well, now we know that the leadership is leaving. And Ryan, what do you currently think the player count is at on Steam?
Marathon?
Yes, all-time peak on Steam is
80,000?
88,000. 88K is its all-time peak. What do you think it's at right now, though?
9,126.
Oh, you're such a nice guy.
Whoa!
You're such a nice guy.
And it's at like the peak too.
Yeah,
Damn.
this is the peak for the day, the 24 hour, I suppose you could say. 5,334. And every single day, the dip has gotten lower and lower. So, like, over the past couple of days, it's been 1,991. You have 1,789, 2,166. Today was 1,708. So, I mean,
right
the lows
now,
are
depending on the game, depends on how many people are playing in like overseas and shit. But typically, I feel like for games, this time is around the peak time because it's, not quite 11 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 8 o'clock on the West Coast in terms of Americans playing the game. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But for games that have heavy international player base, those are typically different dips and peaks, right?
Yeah, here we have Pal World, which is the 24-hour peak of 820K, but in-game right now is 577,088. You have Destiny 2, which, again, the game they're fucking killing off to bank on Marathon. 54,241 players. I mean, I don't think that Marathon can stay alive with these numbers. I think by the 1 year mark, if they are not suddenly able to bring players back, this game is cooked. They are adding in season 3 like a dedicated PvE mode. They're changing this leadership. I think that they're really hoping that it's going to go over better, but the problem is just a couple of weeks ago you had the launch of season 2. They had the week long, or I guess it was technically longer than a week because they extended it, but the like week and a half long free to play period, which when all of that was happening, it actually got all the way up to 44,000 players, which is roughly, or maybe like, I think it was like 42. It wasn't quite the 44, but it was right around there. It got almost to half of its all-time peak on Steam. But now, that the free players are gone and the people who returned for season 2 are gone. I mean, banking on 5,000 players is not a good fucking look. So
you can't survive. Yeah. Like a game like this, it is impossible to survive with that. It's been a massive disappointment for them. How much longer do you think they're going to let it go?
I think at least to the 1 year mark. After 12 months, I think that they will either say, okay, enough is enough, or I don't know if I would quite say they're going to shut it down, but they've already gone through mass layoffs. And so that's the issue is like, do they then go through another wave of layoffs and then they go down to maybe 100 or less people that are working on it? Because they allegedly have a lot more content that they want to create for this, but they said the same thing about Destiny 2, that apparently they had like expansions planned and then Sony said no. So like, do they actually go through with those plans is the big question.
Yeah.
Either way, that's tough, buddy. Fuck around and find out. Nobody wanted Marathon. So yeah.
Did people want Destiny 3?
Oh yeah. I think that Destiny 3 would have been a way safer bet. But they claim that Destiny 2 wasn't it wasn't quite that it wasn't profitable, but it didn't meet their internal expectations. But I don't know how. I mean, Destiny has a lot of people that play it. Destiny has a lot of people who have invested in it. Would have been better to bank on Destiny than Marathon, though, that's for sure.
Probably the case. I never played Marathon, believe it or not.
Well, what do you play? I guess I can't say that anymore. I know for a fact that you played Reloaded, and judging by the poll results, you are going to be playing Mixtape next. Aren't you happy about that? I do say, or I do want to say though, that I do want to see you play Dustborn. Dustborn is so fucking cringe.
Dustborn, huh?
Yeah, but now you have to play Mixtape.
I want to play some stuff I like too, though.
Okay, play Pal World. I've been playing Pal World.
I don't know if I like that or not, but I know I'll like Star Fox.
You like fucking Pokemon, so you're going to like Pal World.
I know I like Star Fox.
Okay, play it.
Playing that. And then I have some other plans maybe, but we're working the cringe shit with it. We're working the cringe shit with it.
Yeah, because I got you some Pokemon. Now I get to pressure you into playing something specific. I have left the decision up to chat. Chat has decided that it is going to be Mixtape. But Mixtape, I finished and reviewed the game in like 4.5 hours. So if you're as quick as I am, you can finish that game in 4 hours.
That sounds like, 2 streams of Mixtape and I can get it done, unlike Reloaded. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think I can probably do that. I think I can do it quicker than Gary, at least.
Yeah, probably. You probably played at least 2 or 3 more games than he has, so.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. But all right, guys, that's about to be the end of FML this week. Ryan, what do you have going on? What are your plans? What's happening?
I don't know. I'm on Geeks and Gamers Daily almost every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm on Friday Night Tights at 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday on Gary from Nerdrotics channel. I put out videos almost every day on my channel. I live stream on Wednesdays and Sunday evenings. And next week, FML will be same time, but on my channel.
Yes, it will be. And his links are down below. I think that I need to put your gaming channel down there, but your other links are down there. So I will do that. I'm a
if you go to this channel, you should be able to find my other ones and stuff. So
yeah,
like if you hit more, can you hit more?
Yes, not there.
2 more links. More. You see that fucking thing that says more?
I was looking down here for some reason because I think that it's because the description used to be here, so my brain still focuses on that.
Actually, it is different because I feel like it used to show other like channels you're connected to.
Yeah, like related channels. Yes. Okay, so I know that I'm not fucking crazy.
Scroll down. Is it like down at?
Oh, okay. Featured channels are down here now, but I think featured channels and description used to be here.
I think
for like years. So, half my issue, half your issue, because we're retarded and don't pay attention to what the platform is changing. So
we're both wrong.
Yeah, we're both wrong. But yeah, his links will be in the description. Of course, per usual, you do not have your second channel listed in the description, but it is on the featured channels. So
there we go.
That counts. And of course, guys, I will be live streaming more video games tomorrow here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be playing more Pal World because I have been having a very good time with it. And then I'm going to be playing Halo this week. Halo, the early access for Campaign Evolve comes out on Thursday, so I will be live streaming that. I have to double check on the time, but I think that that's at like 1 in the afternoon, so I'll be streaming that in the evening. And then as Ryan said, next week, Fuck My Life will be live over on his channel. So yeah, all the links are in the description and in the chat. Thank you guys so much for your donations, for your support, for being here, for hanging out, for stopping by, and have a great...
really quick before we end, over on Rumble, Dan Vicious with 2 gifted subscriptions.
Nice.
Thank you, Dan. After he found us over on Rumble. And then Supreme Lord, have you ever seen Tangled? It's a really good movie. I recommend it. It's really good. If not, you might like Brave. I do think I saw Tangled at some point. I never wanted to watch Brave because the accent drove me fucking crazy.
When we
If you could
started this
change your
show,
fate, would
yes.
ya? It's so annoying. Like I saw that trailer and I was like, I can't listen to
For
this.
some reason, when we started this fucking show, you said it like every week for at least a month and a half straight. I think
don't
chat
know.
was baiting you into saying it, or donations were baiting you into saying it. Brave is actually a decent movie. But
Haven't seen it.
yeah,
Tangled was fine.
there's probably a million movies you haven't seen though that you could see.
That's how movies work. Yeah.
That would be, well, I wasn't done fucking talking, obviously.
But don't pause for so long.
That would actually be decent choices. I don't know if I would necessarily say Tangled would be one. Also, really quickly, TJ for the 5. Hey, Ryan, what did the sandwich board in the beginning of Die Hard 3 say again? I can't remember.
I think it said, I hate N-words. Right? Is that what it said?
I think so.
And when you dropped him off in Harlem, like, I think that was the demand, yeah?
I think so. Good bait. Ryan did not say it though, because Ryan is educated in the ways of YouTube and not saying the N-word. But all right, guys.
Catch me in real life to hear that.
Exactly. Links are in the description. Great time, per usual. FML on Ryan's channel next week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. And have a great rest of your evening, everyone.
Bye.